the wall is an inversion. And an inversion is when your legs are higher than your heart. So what these poses will do will help reverse that natural blood flow and pooling of blood in your feet by bringing fresh oxygenated blood to your feet. So these poses will help reduce any fatigue or swelling that you may have in your legs and feet, and can be a nice relief to your feet if you've been standing on them all day. This pose is also great if you've been traveling, maybe sitting in a car or in an airplane for long periods of time. This pose can help with lowering your blood pressure if you have mild hypertension, and it will also help neutralize energy in the body. And you may feel a slight stretch in your hamstrings. Always advise your doctor before beginning any type of yoga practice. And you'll want to avoid this pose if you have any heart issues, retinal issues, or maybe some disc disease or issues. If you feel any pressure in your head while doing this pose, you'll want to come out and maybe find a gentler inversion. And also avoid this pose if you're more than 3 months pregnant or during a heavy menstruation. So to start this pose, you actually don't need any props. You just need a wall. But you can also have some props to make the pose maybe more comfortable for you. So you'll consider having a couple of blankets, maybe a bolster or a pillow, an eye pillow, and maybe even a sandbag. So if you're not using any props, you can simply place one hip up against the wall and start to lean back, and then spin your legs up to the wall. You can play around with different distances from the wall. You don't need to be right up against it. And you may want to play around with bending your knees some in order to relieve any pressure you may have there if you have tight hamstrings. If you'd like to do an elevated legs up the wall, which means you'll use some sort of prop to kind of lift your hips up a little higher and create that waterfall effect, you may want to use a bolster, and you may want to start with more of a flat bolster or a flatter pillow, or maybe even just using a blanket underneath your hips to provide a little bit of elevation. So if you're using a prop, you'll place it right up against the wall, and then I'd also recommend maybe using a neck roll for more support underneath your neck. And I'll also be using an eye pillow to reduce stimulation. And then I'm also going to place a sandbag on the tops of my feet. So you'll want to sit on top of your prop, if it's a blanket or a pillow or a bolster, with one of your hips up against the wall. Start to lean back and then spin up against the wall. You can have a slight bend in your knees, or you could even place the soles of your feet against the wall if that feels better. When you're in the pose, your arms can be out to your sides, or you can have them out straight in a T shape. You may also want to use a blanket and place that either on top of your chest or wrap it around your legs, because your body temperature will cool down during this pose. Once you're in the pose, you'll want to start with your rhythmic breathing, maybe in through your nose, out through your nose, and to stay in the pose as long as it's comfortable for you. You will feel a sensation in your legs with that blood coming down your legs during the pose. Average time in this pose can be anywhere from 7 to 15 minutes. And to come out of the pose, you can either press your feet into the wall and push your body off of your props or away from the wall, maybe hugging your knees into your chest, or you can roll over onto your side off of your props and spend a moment there before coming up to a seated position.